Yes, welcome to the Vanguard show on Black Power Media Reloaded. Today is October 13th, 2024, and we have a very special guest. It's a comrade I've been after for quite a while just to be able to chop it up with. And he's Bernard Arafat, member of the Southern California chapter of the Black Panther Party under the leadership of Prentice Bunchy Carter. He's a survivor and victor of the LAPD SALT as well as the SWAT assault on the LA Panthers in Los Angeles. He's a historian, businessman, and he's going to give a little bit of his personal history in the Panther Party, before the Panther Party, and after. Again, brother, it's an honor to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I was going to say yesterday was I think the 82nd birthday of old Prentice Bunchy Carter. For those who don't know, and especially the young viewers, who was Bunchy, and what is his legacy?
Bunchy Carter was a leader of the Slauson Renegade gang that was in Los Angeles in the 60s. I was still very young at the time he was the leader of that gang. Eventually, he went through what he had to go through, became politically conscious, and became the leader of the Southern California chapter of the Black Panther Party.
Okay. And again, you did you come under his direct leadership
No,
along with?
sir.
Okay, all right. Who was the leader when you came into the party?
Geronimo Pratt.
Okay, Geronimo Parrot, right on. And where did first of all, where did you grow up? Are you from LA? Some of that family legacy in Los Angeles. And when did you first hear about the Black Panther Party?
Okay. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, to I would say, like a lower middle class Black family. I was a spoiled brat growing up. I was the only child
Okay.
until the age of 13. And then an event happened in my life. My parents passed away from a murder-suicide.
Wow.
So I saw the after effects of that. And I guess mentally, I became a rebellious youth. I didn't fit in. Uh, got kicked out of a lot of schools. It just didn't click. So I started identifying with, I guess, the hustling lifestyle, or the lifestyle that many Black youth or Black male youths go into. Eventually, how I came into the Black Panther Party was, I was hanging around with some other people in my neighborhood who were a little bit older than me, and we were burglarizing stores.
Mm.
And so we were burglarizing this store in Inglewood in an old 54 Chevy. And we had the hood up to look like we had car problems while we're burglarizing this electronics store.
Wow.
And the police drove up.
Okay.
And the brother that was the driver, this crazy brother, we jumped in the car and we tried to outrun the police with the hood up.
Oh wow.
Okay. So to make a long story short, we were arrested. I was a juvenile at the time, but I identified with my fellow the brothers that I was with that I was an adult.
Okay.
So they kept us over that weekend and they sent us to the county jail in Los Angeles.
Mm.
When they found out that I was a juvenile, they had to separate me from the adults. And what they had there was what is called the juvenile tank at the old county jail, where these juveniles that had been declared adults because of the because of the crimes they committed.
Mhm.
So I was there waiting to be transferred to juvenile hall.
Okay.
In that juvenile tank, right next to it was the Steiner brothers.
Mm.
Okay. The Steiner brothers were the people that were accused of killing Bunchy Carter and John Huggins. Okay. So they were in the tank next to us and they were trying to influence the youth in the juvenile tank. So we had a lot of the cultural nationalist ideology and whatever floating around. People were learning, I guess, Swahili to communicate with each other, you know. But anyway, I shared a cell with a brother by the name of Wendell. And this brother was politically active and opened my mind to a lot of things. Okay. So eventually, I was transferred to a juvenile hall.
Mhm.
And they had sentenced me to YA, Youth Authority.
Okay.
And so I knew the deal because I've been in and out of juvenile hall as a youth. And I knew I always wore glasses.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Mhm.
I guess I wasn't an escape risk or whatever, but they sent me from San Fernando to Los Angeles to go to the optometrist for glasses.
Mhm.
And we weren't handcuffed.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. All
We
right.
would go get picked up by a probation officer, drive us to the optometrist. And so at the optometrist, I went through the procedure. We were getting ready to be taken back to juvenile hall. I broke and ran.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
broke and ran, and I was in the neighborhood. Eventually, I found out there was Boyle Heights that I wasn't familiar with. Found a familiar street and followed the railroad tracks.
Okay. All right.
Followed it, I believe it was Long Beach Boulevard or something like that. But anyway, I followed these railroad tracks and I came up to a high school called Jefferson High School
Okay.
in Los Angeles.
Mm.
Okay, and there was a brother. I'm in my juvenile hall attire,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, and
Okay.
so I got in a conversation with the brother, and he knew he can see and knew what was up,
Mm.
and he told me that there was a Black Panther office on 41st and Central.
Okay.
So I walked to the Black Panther office to 41st and Central, tell him what was up, and there was a brother by the name of Toure that was the officer of the day.
Mhm.
He saw what was up, the policy of the Black Panther Party, that they weren't going to turn in a runaway slave,
Right
and
on.
I got a change of clothes and some bus fare,
Right on.
and that started my relationship with the Black Panther Party.
Okay, right on. Could you talk about some of the comrades that was in the party with you that I knew personally was the Freeman brothers, as well as Comrade Wayne and a few others. Talk about some of them because I had a big influence from the Freeman brothers, both Ronald and Roland.
Uh, well, they were my role models. They were my role models, uh, especially Roland. We were in the shootout together.
Right, right on.
And matter of fact, even in the shootout, I had got criticism from him while we're returning fire to the police.
Oh.
Because as a youth,
Mhm.
I wasn't that familiar with guns.
Mhm.
And when the shootout happened, I happened to grab an automatic shotgun. So you figure a 17-year-old with an automatic shotgun with the recoil and the spread of the shotgun. ammunition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So during the shootout, I had a criticism because I was behind Ronald Roland in the shootout when we were downstairs. I fired at the door, and the spread of the shotgun blast could have jeopardized the brothers that were in front of me.
Okay.
So I remember I had got some criticism on that.
Yeah, but I know under duress, you just gotta let it loose in the moment of attack, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I to give you a description of what had happened that day was that I was upstairs and I was asleep in the library.
Mm-hmm.
I had just came down from my security post on top of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So another brother, Gil Parker, relieved me,
Mm-hmm.
and Gil was captured on the roof. But anyway, while they had captured him, he tried to alert us of the impending assault. But so when the police started the assault, we had a skylight in the middle of this large, I guess, meeting room, and then there was rooms around that particular upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and they got the shooting down from the roof, and that's when I grabbed the shotgun and I returned fire.
Okay.
Yeah. So the shootout went on, and you got to imagine that across the street from where we were at uh, were snipers,
Mm-hmm.
and then through the leadership of Geronimo, we had reinforced that building with sandbags and sand between the drywall and the brick.
Right on.
So you couldn't raise your head above the sandbags, and or you'd be dead because you'd be exposed to the snipers. So a good portion of the shootout upstairs, we had to crunch down below the sandbags until we heard from our comrades downstairs that they were trying to make reentry, and then we had used pipe bombs to back them off.
Okay. And describe who was in it with you guys. I know is I think two women, Tommy and Peaches, I believe they were called. If not, I think there was those as well as the men who were in there during that time.
Uh, Good question.
Okay.
Tommy and Peaches was there. Tommy was wounded in the leg, as far as I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You had Wayne, you had Paul Red, you had Roland.
Was there a brother named Cotton as well?
Cotton.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I
believe
heard about him
Cotton.
with the Thompson.
Yeah, I believe later on he turned state evidence.
Right, I didn't remember
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
You had Gil, who I mentioned.
Okay.
You had Mims.
Okay.
I mentioned Paul Red.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Mhm.
I'm trying to remember.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, we can keep it flowing from here because I have an idea. At least my subscribers have an idea of who is in there. But uh, describe what the chain of events was up until the conclusion and the aftermath.
Well, from my understanding, um, the the shootout lasted about 4.5, 5 hours, and it started to become pointless because we were running out of ammunition. It was dragging on, and I believe Peaches made contact with the news agencies or whatever. So she arranged the surrender, you know, Matter of fact, I believe Peaches was the first one out the building because well, she led the surrender.
Right. She had a white shirt or something like
Yeah,
that, right?
I think it
Yeah.
was a piece of her petticoat or blouse or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, just to backtrack a little bit, some of your early activism, I think you had your high school had a protest just like Fremont High, because I had
Oh,
interviewed, yeah,
yeah.
I had interviewed Harold Welton and his documentary Liberation of Fremont High. Briefly describe that, and then I want to jump back into the
Yeah.
41st and
When
Central.
I was going to high school, there were a lot of political activities,
Mhm.
you know, and the black students were going through a lot of walkouts throughout Los Angeles. And at the time, I was going to a school that had just opened up called Crenshaw High School.
Okay, all right.
And we had a walkout,
Okay.
in solidarity with Fremont High School and the other schools that walked out in protest to the events that were happening during that era.
Okay. And now we're going to kind of jump back into 41st and Central. During that time, after the decision was made to surrender, describe the chain of events. And I believe, if you don't mind, I'd like to share a picture with you, and then you can kind of describe what's going on here. Let's see. I want to make sure you can see the picture as well. And that you on the right?
I
Can,
can't see it.
can you see it? Okay.
Yeah, that's me on the right.
Right. Now, how old were you there?
I
And who
was
was the young man?
17.
17. And who's the young man next to you?
Uh, you know what? I have him on the picture on the wall. I have to walk away to look.
Oh, okay. I don't want you to do that.
Man, I can't remember that brother's name.
Yeah. But
Yeah, he's
describe that scene, that picture scene right there.
that's when we were first arrested and we were being put into the police cars.
Okay. All right. And then what was the process once everyone was arrested, taken to jail? Process in terms of what happened in terms of once you guys went through trials, and I believe it was all acquittal. Describe that period of time after 41st and Central.
Okay, I believe we were taken to this particular jail called the Glass House,
Okay.
and we were being processed there. Remember, I was still a juvenile, so I was separated.
Okay.
I was sent to juvenile hall, and they had a particular area in juvenile hall for extreme criminal cases such as this.
Right.
So I was separated from the main population in juvenile hall. And so I had actually asked to be declared an adult.
Okay.
Okay, because I didn't want to be separated from my comrades.
Right on.
And the judge was happy to oblige me. So they
Okay.
declared me as an adult.
Okay. Mm.
And then I was sent to the county jail, back to the area where I had came from months ago, to the juvenile portion of the county jail.
Mhm.
And then we started our court. And eventually the community came together, rallied behind the cause, and we were bailed out one by one. So
Okay.
I was bailed out, started functioning as we would in the party, and I was eventually called to go underground.
Okay.
And that seemed kind of complicated because like as you said, we were the court, everybody else was exonerated,
Mhm. Right.
but I had went underground and eventually stayed in a safe house and function in that safe house until that got old.
Is that called jump bail? Some comrades talk about jump. They
Yeah,
had to jump
yeah.
bail. Yeah.
Since I didn't make my court appearance,
Mhm.
I jumped bail. So I was in a safe house, and this safe house was like a modern day underground railroad. So I believe the people that were participating in this was following that particular example, where you had ordinary people from the Black community that we will either stay in a house
Mhm.
or stay in a place where they would bring us food, and we would just keep a low profile until whatever happened next.
Okay.
Eventually, that went on for I guess a couple of years,
Mhm.
and we resurfaced uh, in a different identity, right? So you got your new driver's license or new ID card or whatever,
Mhm.
and you start looking for work under that new and try to blend in as a normal person in the Black community that wasn't radicalized.
Right.
That went on for a while.
Okay.
Uh, Eventually, I got tired of that.
Mhm.
There was a brother that had befriended me when I was leaving work one time,
Mhm.
and we stopped by his house to smoke some weed.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know that the weed was laced with, I guess what they call angel dust or whatever.
Oh wow.
So when I
Okay.
got back to the safe house, I was criticized severely
Mm.
because that was a no-no. So I
Right.
got pistol whooped.
Wow.
And I believe the next day, I contacted that brother. I eventually just got tired of it.
Mhm.
And I told him that, well, I had lied to him. I told him that my mother was sick in New York City.
Mhm.
I had just got paid, and I was short on a plane fare to New
Mhm.
York City. So that brother I had just met gave me the difference in the plane ticket.
Okay.
So I caught the plane from Los Angeles to New York City, and then from New York City, I went to Puerto Rico.
Okay. All
And
right.
I hid out in Puerto Rico for a couple years.
Okay. Wow. Also, I want to talk about your life after the party. So once, the party, now, did you stay until the end, say 80, 82, and then what was your life like after the party?
After the party,
Yes, sir.
okay, I had family members. I had an aunt that raised me after my parents had passed away,
Okay.
and they didn't know what had happened to me. Was I alive or dead or whatever? So I reestablished contact. And eventually she got a hold of a lawyer and whatever, and made arrangements to come back to Los Angeles and give myself up. So I went through that process. I think they put me on probation or whatever, uh, and then started to relive my life.
Okay.
Uh, so I started to drift back into that old lifestyle of hustling or whatever,
Right.
and that got old,
Right.
and the jobs were limited.
Mhm.
So there was a sister in my neighborhood when I was growing up that was Muslim,
Okay.
and we used to go over her house where her son lived in the garage, and we
Okay.
would get high with her son or whatever. But
Mhm.
anyway, she would try to influence us in a positive way, which she would say, well, like Muhammad Ali would be at the masjid that day or whatever,
Mm.
and she would try to influence us, right?
Okay.
So I eventually hooked up with a sister from the neighborhood, and we had a short marriage and whatever. That didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
The drugs and the alcohol were just getting too crazy.
Right.
And I went into the Nation of Islam.
Okay. Right on.
In the Nation of Islam, I learned some business skills.
Okay.
You know, I worked in the bakeries, the restaurants,
And
things like
Shabazz,
that.
Shabazz
And they
Bakeries. Yeah.
encourage,
I
yeah,
said
they encourage,
Shabazz Bakeries. Right. Right. Mhm.
pardon me?
Oh, I just said Shabazz bakeries and
Yeah,
businesses. Yeah, I remember
etc.
those in
Yeah.
L.A. Yeah.
So under that leadership and that discipline,
Hmm.
they encouraged us to go back to school.
Okay.
So I enrolled in junior college, at, and went to junior college for 2 years, and eventually I met my uh, well, I met a young lady and got married, and started that particular family, and got got my real estate license,
Okay.
and worked in real estate, and worked at another job at night called Alcoa Aluminum, you know.
Okay. All right.
So I had got a particularly good paying job, and I had a goal or a career in real estate that I worked in.
Okay. All right. And we got about 4 minutes left. And what I want to do, and I'll let the audience know that we're going to do a follow up because your story is so dynamic and interesting, and I think it'll be a great teaching point for people. November 8th, we're going to try to make sure your schedule is good, but we're going to do a part two. So, in conclusion, how can people follow you and contact you going forward?
Good question.
Uh,
I never had that question put to me. How
oh,
did they contact or put me?
well, if
Well,
if you like real estate and then you
yeah,
have inquiries, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you're interested in buying some property in Los Angeles or in California in general, you can get in contact with me. My information is on, I guess, Facebook. I you can get in contact with me there. My phone number's on there, etc. On my Facebook page, and we can have a discussion, and we can go from there, and hopefully we can get you to invest in some real estate. Especially when we need generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Uh, definitely.
Okay. Well, comrade, I really respect and admire you. All the comrades that I met that were, my elders in Los Angeles. Oftentimes, I'd meet them at the Elegant Manor on I think it's Western. If it's still out there, I'm not sure the Elegant Manor, but I used to run into the Freeman brothers, Michael Zinson at Kappa, and they always, especially the Freeman brothers would mention your name. And I am honored to finally get a chance to talk to you. I look forward to our follow up December 8th and around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, comrade, it's been a pleasure and it's been an honor.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. And I'll talk to you soon.
Have a blessed one.
You
Assalamu
too.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Shukran.